Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here today with Chris Moss, who's CEO of a fairly new company called PSN GR1. Am I right, Chris? Is that
Yeah, so we took the vowels out of the word passenger, and we want it to be known as Passenger One.
Passenger One? And that's what it stands for. First of all, just how are you and where are you?
Doing very well, surviving the crazy climate we're in, both with COVID and the actual weather. It's quite cold up here in Westchester, New York.
Yeah, and I'm on the other side of the county, and it's equally as cold, and we have the river wind too to make it even colder. So I kept saying we could have done this one live, but we're going to do this one as Zoom. So
we'll do the next one over a beer live.
I like that idea right away. So our viewers can look forward to that one. Now, first of all, explain what Passenger PSN GR1 is and what it does.
Sure. So we are a travel platform. We looked at the travel world holistically, and we saw a lot of different issues. And we looked at other industries. Friendships and connections had Facebook. The workplace had LinkedIn. But travel has many disparate marketplaces. On the corporate side, you have Concur and to a lesser degree Deem. And on the leisure side, you have Expedia, Booking, Airbnb. But none really that do more than one thing. So, like I said, it's best. The Expedias and the Airbnbs are sort of one-trick ponies there on the leisure side. Mm-hmm. On the corporate side, Concur leaves a lot to be imagined and desired by travel managers and end users. So we said to ourselves, why don't we really allow for this platform that others can come and build on top of, that's predicated on this dynamic profile, to where users can book both corporate and leisure travel all in Passenger One, and really call that the home of travel. And we do that by integrating travel agencies, global distribution systems, corporate customers, developers, and of course, end users. And lastly, I can't forget suppliers. So we are working on bringing content direct in as well, and really allowing for all of these folks to work together more efficiently. And in so doing, our go-to-market is really focused on that corporate customer, because we feel like there's a lot of pain essentially focused on Concur. Most of it tied to a poor user experience, which pushes people out of policy, which is, means no policy adherence, no reporting, no duty of care, all that stuff that corporates care about. But by winning the corporate customer, we become indispensable to suppliers. And then we also have this unfolding leisure market, because if you travel for work, you're coming from a household that makes 33% more disposable income a year, and those folks want to travel and do high-end luxe leisure. So being able to have that one profile, it's kind of like the IRA that would follow you from job to job. We're going to have the profile that will always be with you. And there's this massive seismic shift that's happening in travel around this thing called new distribution capabilities.
Yeah, no, we're all hearing about that for the past few years. And at one point, it was viewed by travel advisors as a way to bypass them. But now, of course, all the GDSs have come in and they're actively part of it. And they're all have their own NDC capabilities now. So everybody wants to do NDC and sell more airline products, right?
Yep, 100%. So for our money, or for our positioning, I should say, we don't care where you want to get that. We can get it directly from the supplier. You want to use it through a GDS, great. We don't see that as necessarily a tool to disintermediate. We see it as a tool to identify a point of sale and be able to create these real-time offers that will allow the supplier to optimize their yield, to allow the end user to get a great deal, and allow travel agents to make sure that they have the absolute best content. So
yeah, well, that's what so you're sort of a travel technology aggregator in a way. You're giving travel advisors and suppliers and access to all the GDSs, the new distribution capability content, and you also have access to kind of restaurant, tour, and activity reservations as well, right?
Yeah, correct. So we do allow for so from an agent perspective, it's this online booking tool, it's this content aggregator, document delivery, itinerary management, flight, hotel, car, train, fully integrated to the GDSs with commissions, with all the UDIDs and reporting things that they would need. And yes, we can allow for custom events as well that allow for this very unique way to build what we call trip boards, which is the container that you can stuff all those things in, do it collaboratively with your clients. And we think that's really going to change the way travel is planned.
No,
booked, managed, and
yeah,
serviced.
absolutely. Now, what is your background? I mean, where do you come from to get to here?
Yeah. So I had spent time with British Airways, with JetBlue, and also a bit of time in the agency sector. So see it from the supplier perspective, also from the agency perspective. And right out of college, I actually worked for a hedge fund where I ended up booking more travel than I actually traded commodities or stocks. But that's my background.
Now, who owns? I'll call it Passenger One. Who owns Passenger One, or who are your investors?
Yeah, good question. That's confidential at the moment. We've raised $13 million. We are a C corp, so we're in the process of raising considerable amount for our Series B, and we'll divulge more ownership information in terms of the cap table, in coming soon.
Absolutely. Now, you have all this content. How did you get all this content, and what partnerships did you form to get it, in terms of all this the stuff that's going into, the GDSs, the leisure and the corporate content that you'll have on Passenger One?
Yeah, good question. So first and foremost, we see the GDSs as really that critical piece. So we're worldwide developers with Sabre and Amadeus, Travelport's coming. But we also know that there's supplementation needs from a content aggregation perspective. So we're going out, we're getting LCCs that may not be in those GDSs, alternative accommodations, things like that, that we can then bring into our system and then deliver to the front ends for our end users and/or travel agents to book.
Now, as you know, GDS contracts deliver revenue to travel advisors who, basically are frequent bookers, and you're not asking them to give up these contracts and just go with you, right? This is an add-on to you, really, is it?
Yeah, we're a piece of software, so we would sit between the customer and the agency, and then also integrate fully with the GDS of their choice.
Yeah, and of course that is the issue. I mean, I have seen attempts to create alternative GDSs, and I guess I want to make clear this is not really an alternative GDS in the sense, because they have always failed. It's been hard to go up against the Sabres and the Apollos and the the travel ports nowadays, and Amadeus, of course. So in this case, you're just a layer above that in giving travel advisors and users more content, right?
Correct. So the barrier to entry to replace the GDS is massive. And they certainly perform a role on the business of travel. These agencies rely on that for accounting, for mid-back office, and basically to run their business. So they're not going anywhere. Right. Yes, and we supplement. So we are the I hate using this term, but it's I think an industry acknowledged positioning is an online booking tool with content aggregation, and the important bit about us is with Concur, an agency can use that for their corporate customers, but no leisure customer in their right mind would ever want to do that. From our perspective, Passenger One allows for both sides of the travel ribbon to be able to be booked. Or you could put together an amazing itinerary to the Bahamas or Antarctica, wherever it is that you may want to go, and then you could pass that along to your customers. Right now you're doing that in the GDS, putting an M trip, booking it somewhere else. All of that, all the communication, all the planning, the management can happen within Passenger One. And of course, it's a full end-to-end tool for agencies to go on and sell to corporate customers. Yeah, we are a software company, though. That's it.
Right. So you're software. And I understand you're kind of trying to deliver better functionality for Passenger One for travel advisors for your users. What makes it a simpler system than what's out in the market now in terms of online booking tools?
Yeah, so from a corporate perspective, in terms of those that are consuming the product, we have our next gen storefront. So in one search request, you get all your fares, all your options. Twofold. One, it's just easier. You get to see everything. You don't miss a fare. But from a corporate travel manager's perspective, you also are able to align values with your policy. So that first class ticket from LGA to ORD is different than the business class ticket from JFK to LAX, right? That's now accounted for in our next gen storefront. So all fares, one search request. Then we have our trip boards, this container that allows you to book all things in one place, very simply, make it personal, all the good stuff, and do it with as few clicks as possible. And then we have this travel manager portion of the UI that if you're a corporation, you can sign your company up, select your preferred travel agency, and basically have travel management within a matter of minutes.
Right.
There's no longer these agencies need to pay Concur $250 to build an instance, wait 3 weeks, file a ticket. All is happening very quickly. And on the agent side, we have our own proprietary app to where you can build these corporations and orgs, manage your clients, but also have agency settings to where you're able to turn on and off suppliers. So if you want to have GDSs, multi-GDSs, if you want to have content direct, you're able to have a lot of dexterity and control over what content is running through those pipes.
And so this is effectively, it's a mobile version as well. You have mobile versions as well on it with an app.
Yep, all clients. So we have web, mobile web, Android, and iOS.
Now, I understand you also try to deliver kind of better travel offers to advisors and corporate customers and their clients. How do you get those? How do you get these better offers that, including air, hotel, car, cruise, things like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is kind of pointed towards the future as NDC really industrializes itself. I know it's going to take a little bit more time. There's a little chaos around it, but it'll sort itself out because it's not necessarily about the disintermediation like I'm talking about. It's the mechanism of personalizing. So that's really what we're focused on there, is making those connections possible, and then being the source of data that these suppliers are able to say, hey, this is James and he's a really high valued customer. We want to make him a great offer. And there would be data points that would support that they could kind of put in their pricing algorithm and create that in real time. So otherwise it would be the rates, whether it's hotel rate codes or snap codes, or any discounts that these agencies would have with the suppliers direct, that we'd be able to then allow them to market, sell through Passenger One.
Yeah, well, we could. I think over a beer, I could talk to you about the history of NDC, because when it first came in, a lot of travel advisors, I mentioned earlier, were very worried this was a disintermediation, and of course, it hasn't proven that way. I'm still wondering.
We may want to make that plural, right? We may need a couple beers too.
I think that's true, because they were very worried about it, and of course, I'm still not sure how much income they're deriving by selling ancillary products for airlines at this point. Some larger agencies may have figured that one out, but the idea that, when they unbundle all the pricing in airlines, and it made it so complicated, which, absolutely created more revenue for the airlines. How to sell that was the big issue. And that's what NDC is trying to address. And it sounds like you think that that whole process can be, moved over to other products and travel as well.
100%. First of all, it'll start there, but it'll quickly cascade across the rest of the ribbon. I think there's going to be a massive amount of change. And I think a good impetus for that change is, quite frankly, the pandemic. And I think there's a big issue with economics that need to be solved. But there's also been, these incumbent players like a Concur that are there, and to get them out of the picture, it's really difficult because of how they've integrated themselves with ERPs and expense, and just the depth of what they do with these travel management companies. So we're finally there. We're at table stakes. And I think, the first step is to really own the customer. And when that happens, we can understand what the customer really wants. And that customer is a corporate travel manager, the end user, leisure traveler, travel agents, travel agencies. And I think the industry is smart enough to deliver solutions that will work for everybody. But this is seismic shifts. These are glacial movements. Nothing's going to happen overnight. We need to be patient. But I think it's important to understand where we want to go. When you get to Everest, you see the peak, but you get to base camp, then you go to one, and you work your way up. I think there's been a mismanagement of expectations with NDC, and everybody gets all crazy because there are some folks that are unhappy with the GDSs and what I would call a duopoly, maybe an oligopoly. I know travel, if you include Travelport, so the three of them, and even Travel Sky. But I think it'll all sort itself out in due time. But of course, we need to do what's right by all of the customers that I mentioned.
Well, I like your your metaphor for Everest. I just hope that most of us don't die freezing on the side of the mountain, but that's another story. But no, it is something coming, and I know you're this has been coming now for NDC for several years, and now you're kind of an example of a company that is taking advantage of it. Now, if I'm a travel agency, what kind of technology will I need to use, Passenger One?
So you don't need any technology. Passenger One is the platform that you can plug in and basically start to manage your corporations or organizations or ICs. Immediately. We're built to be able to complement your existing systems, i.e. GDS, mid, back office, and we make it very pliable for the folks that own and run travel agencies to use that. The system is by no means finished. There's quite a bit of product that we want to deliver, but we have 10 plus agencies on board currently.
Great.
That are using it, and that's going to grow significantly this year, and we look forward to getting a lot of feedback and really building the product to those very specific needs that travel agencies have. So both ears are open for that part of the market for sure.
And as corollary to that is what kind of costs are involved for travel advisors who want to use Passenger One?
Yep. So the term consumption model has been thrown around by a few players, and we certainly subscribe to that. So we charge on a per tripward basis. No other subscription fees or hidden fees or instance fees. As the more tripwards you sell, the lower those unit costs will be. And if you're a large enough agency where you have confidence in those numbers, and you want to potentially sell more to bring those unit costs down, we're happy to put an annual subscription in, but that would be on a per agency basis. So pricing is very clear and easy to understand.
Now, we go out to about 98,000 now travel advisors. What would you tell them about Passenger One that you think they should know?
Yeah, so to be able to run your entire business in a place that is of course very tech advanced, but easy to use, easy to engage with. And our goal, our purpose for the agencies is to increase sales. Mm-hmm. So how do we do that? We provide a UI within our travel agent app that will allow you to bring on the next gen of travel agents that maybe don't know the command line and don't necessarily want to learn that stuff. We make it easy to point, click, build trip boards, add in your service fees, get your commissions. And then also to be able to have a product to sell onwards to your customers, whether that's leisure or corporate, to be able to better engage and better engage, sell, and market all the itineraries and things that you want to put together. And I think, again, we're at the tip of the iceberg in what we want to do with, empowering these folks with content and being able to have things that the market per se doesn't always, which right now, the Airbnbs of the world make it difficult because folks can kind of go and do whatever they want, do things autonomously, which always disrupt the flow between agent and customer. Although folks that are in the high end luxe leisure very much rely on those agents. But I would say, it's all about product at the agency level, and then also for on the marketing and sales level onward, to be able to acquire more customers and sell more travel.
Absolutely. Now, where can travel advisors go to find out more about Passenger One, and where can they maybe go and try to test it out, take a look at it?
Yeah, go to passengerone.com. If there's an agency tab if you want to learn more. If you'd like to set up a demo, you can easily do that within the tab. You can sign in. It's basically an open system. Anybody can go in. You can search your flights, your hotels, your cars. If you want to sign up a company or an agency, get in touch. You'll be prompted within the UI to be able to do that. And I'm always available, and anybody on our team is available at travel@passengerone.com. So feel free to send an email there, and we'd be happy to get in touch and have a demo and a deeper conversation about what your needs are and how Passenger One can help solve any problems you may have.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you for taking the time to explain this. It sounds fascinating, and obviously it's been a new age for a while with NDC and everything that's going on with the res systems with all the different, right now, everybody's trying to build a better system, and that has existed. And it sounds like you're on the cutting edge of that. And good luck with this new, with Passenger One. And we'll see, we get some more travel advisors to come and give you a tryout and see what they think. Again, thank you so much.
Appreciate that, James. We have a lot of big news coming here. We look forward to sharing that with you and in the greater market. So thanks for your time.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.